Beauties and Savages, welcome to 2020. My name is Al / Papi Chulo, and I'm joined with my co-host.
It's the Stallion, ladies and gentlemen. It's Hector in the studio.
And welcome to Savages Unscripted. How's your New Year's, Hector?
New Year's. What I will say, and I briefly told you this, is that it was way better than last year. Way better.
Nice.
The fact that I remember this New Year, that's a huge step up.
Damn. That's pretty dope. Were you one of those traditions where you jumped at 12 p.m. and then 12 a.m. and then 12:01 just went to bed?
Like jumped up out of my seat?
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
So growing up,
just for that 1 minute.
Growing up, my family didn't really care. Like it was just another day, just midnight, whoop-de-doo, new year, new day. We never really celebrated like stuff like that or 4th of July. Yeah, until like a couple years ago, I don't think I really ever had like a New Year's where I would stay up and really care. And I think this year, I don't know, but this last New Year's was probably my favorite because I remember it and I celebrated it. That says quite a bit. I told you about last year, and I went to a party of a dear friend of mine, and I think that is the last time I really got drunk. And I think that's when I decided, you know what, I don't think I really need this life anymore.
I mean, we did talk about it, like we just don't want to drink that hard anymore, at least.
Yeah, well, that was just so. A bit before this is when I started getting healthy, and it wasn't just carbs or those empty calories, but for me that night, that was my worst hangover, and I clearly remember having that hangover for 2 days. Like, you should not have a hangover for 2 days.
Oh my god!
I literally thought I was dying, and I remember so that night or that morning, like I woke up fine, and the only reason I realized I got drunk is because I woke up in somebody else's living room. And that freaked me out. Like, I don't know if you ever had those moments where you wake up and you're like, whoa, where am I? And I woke up fine, 100%. I could have gone to the gym if I wanted to. But then, like, within 5 minutes, my body was just falling apart. And progressively, as the day went on, I got worse and worse and worse for 2 days. And every time, like, I think of, like, liquor or shots or hard iced tea, I think of that night and I get really nauseous. I do not like that.
Damn. Not even some yellow shots?
I'm just really scarred from that night. Yeah.
To be fair, like I felt like you did stop because I remember I saw you guys a couple days after, or I don't know, it was like a month after. And you told me you were kind of like done already drinking from just that one experience.
Yeah, and like from past experience, like my friends are used to me like, hangover, and of course, like most people, like, oh, I'm not drinking again. And then in a week, I'd be getting like really drunk again. And you saw this in me too when I lived with you, like, oh, I don't want to drink again. A few days later, like, yeah, let's do this. But no, after last New Year's of 2019, I don't think I touched a drink for at least 4 or 5 months. It was a while, and like it was just the beer. Like I was literally scarred, and that only helped me too because I just realized like I didn't need to drink to have fun. But then the emergence of the White Claw brought me back, and I was like, I like this.
Yes,
like this is nice, and it's good on the tummy. I like this.
That's great, man. That was basically like your nail in the coffin for at least Party Hector.
Yeah, before I ask you about your New Year's, so I wanted to share this, and a few old friends of mine know this. So back when I really started drinking, I just turned 21, or I was about to turn 21. No, I was 21. I do shit legally, you guys. So anyways, I knew I was really into it. I knew I was a little too into it. But in my mind, and I wasn't just using it as an excuse, of myself and a few friends had this little pact, and we told ourselves, let's get tired of drinking now. Let's get so tired of it that when we're older and we have more responsibilities, we have families and our own kids, like we don't want to drink. Let's get that shit over with now. And I think it's working, especially for me, because like the last couple of times I've seen you, I don't think you've seen me with the drink, and that's good.
Mm.
But yeah, how's your New Year's, man?
It was tiring, to be honest with you, because just to start off, me and my family hosted the New Year's here with, and like family from a long time I hadn't seen, and just other family members just came. I think it was like around 30 people in my house, and just to prepare the whole place, because my mom likes to be, really, how do you say it, really prepared for anything. He likes to make everything look nice, no matter how you look at it. There's still something wrong with it, maybe. But yeah, we took like 3 days to prepare the whole house, cleaning, setting up stuff, building, like I built also my fire pit, all this stuff. And by the time the party started, we were all tired. We just didn't want to do shit. And as the night progressed, it was getting lit, like not just alcohol wise, but everyone was dancing, everyone was chatting with each other, catching up. It was a good time, and in general, it was really fun. It was so fun. Time legit flew by, because midnight hit, everyone was like, yeah, kept dancing, and the party kept going until 5:30. and we didn't even notice that was the time. that's how much of a blast I had, at least for my New Year's. So it was pretty great. I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my most fondest New Year's I had.
That's good. Like, I don't mind a drink. I don't mind, getting to that point of tipsy, or buzzed, but I think I reached a point where I want to remember the night. And I was having this discussion with Elias, the intern, and with Beatrice about a few days ago, and I was telling them, like, I had enough of those nights where I was blacked out. Those mornings when your friends have to tell you, hey, you did this, and then we went here, and this happened. I had a few of those nights with you, too. I remember that night we went to Jack in the Box, and I was super drunk. I don't remember going to Jack in the Box. Anyways, I don't want that anymore. And I got to the point where, like, I want my own memories. I don't want to just hear that I did some stupid shit. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, Al. What do you think about that?
I feel like, do you think it's just based on your preference and your taste of consuming stuff, or just in general how you're growing? It kind of sounds like I'm mixing two things together, but I kind of feel there's connection there, at least.
Taste is definitely a part of it. I told you prior to the podcast that, so on my New Year's, it was very chill. A little recap, I don't want to get too into it, but for those listening, I was invited to that same party again this year. And ahead of time, I was like, I don't have any plans. All right. And my immediate thought was, I want to make memories. I want to go out. I don't want to just stay in here. And I don't want my New Year's, once it hits 12 midnight, I don't want it to just be another day. I want that moment to be some sort of special. And so I got invited to this party, and you did too. And after a while, we just realized, like, we don't want to get too into this for now, but we just realized, like, do we want to do this? Like, we're tired. I think mentally and just in different ways, we were just drained. And that's why, you spent yours with your family. I spent mine with my roommates, and I do not regret it. It was a beautiful night. Anyways, so we had drank a bottle of wine. We brought a bottle of wine. It was a fruity one. Okay. It was pretty sweet. But I remember, like, everyone's enjoying this bottle of wine, and I drank mine. I was like, all I taste is liquor. And I realized, like, I don't drink this stuff anymore. Like, so of course it's what I'm clinging on to. That's what was very distinct to me. But maybe it is the taste. Maybe it is a little bit the old age. Very soon I'll be turning 26. It's all downhill from here.
I like that. I feel the same way too, and a reason I asked you the question too, because I kind of also connect, obviously it's connected alcohol with health, and not on the point that, in that specific time or a specific day that you're going to be blacked out, but I'm talking about just over time kind of molding your habits.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, you know, that 30-year-old or that 50-year-old uncle still getting fucked up and making a scene, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be able to eventually just control myself and be able to do that, not just because of for my health, but the decency and the enjoyment of everyone around. So drinking, like, you know, you said, just enjoying kicking back and drinking a bit, that's good. But getting to a point of getting blacked out or anything like that, I am also in that same direction with you.
Yeah, a few years ago, I lived with some other roommates before I met you. And during this time, I clearly remember, you know, we would party a lot. We would drink a lot. And we had this balcony. And, like, during the day, especially on, like, very hazy, cloudy, you know, very gloomy days, we'd like to just be out there and just drink tea and just read. I know that sounds, like, super, like, nerdy. Some people probably think, like, oh, this guy's an English major. He doesn't really do this. No, I did that. And what's funny is, you know, all that partying and stuff, but what really stands out to me was those days on the balcony. Like, those were my favorites. And this is a friend of mine I still talk to on occasion, and, like, that's all we talk about. Like, the tea we drank and the books that we read and these conversations that we had on this balcony. And that's special. Yeah, we're getting old. I like this, though. If this is what getting old entails, fuck.
They say
age, take me faster.
You know, they always say,
That's what she said.
not say, but, you know, the common thought is that if you want to have a good time, drink a lot, and it's going to be fun memories, but how are you going to remember it, you know? And then the other, just going back to the other extent that you're saying, talking about drinking tea and just talking, I connect with that too. Those are great times because at the end, you're just not talking some random shit or just doing whatever, shouting or, you know, doing whatever you wouldn't usually do when you're drunk. But you get more in deeper conversations and you become more honest with the person. And those true moments are the ones that get you closer to the person that you're talking to, at least. Or at least you get to know them and see where it goes from there.
I actually didn't tell you this,
Yeah.
but you're going to like this. So about a week or two ago, I had somebody who wanted to come on the podcast. And, you know, you were unavailable, so I was actually going to record like a segment with this friend of mine. And she challenged me because she'd mentioned that I think she'd never seen me drunk. And so she challenged me because she had like a breathalyzer with her. And she told me like, hey, we buy you some beers, just you. Are you down to get drunk? And let's see how long it takes for you to get drunk. And let's do a podcast. And I was like, I'm down. So we were going to do this. Got the beer and stuff. When we were almost done with all this beer, she realized she didn't have the breathalyzer. So basically, I was doing this for nothing. And I remember being like, well, what the hell? Like, what's going on? And then, like, I at that point, like, I was just not that. I'm not saying I was into the alcohol, but when I drink, I get very conversational. And I just kind of forgot about the podcast. We just didn't record it. I wanted the breathalyzer for it. And, like, the next morning, she found it in her bag. She had it the whole time. And I was like, well, damn it.
Oh, my
God. Ladies and savages, ladies and savages, that might be coming soon. I've told a few people about this and they want me to do it. It's not gonna be a very common occurrence. As I just said, I don't really drink that much. It's something I do just more so with friends, very close people. But yeah, New Year's, we're not slamming people who drink. People are into different stuff. I like a night of reading and like listen to records. Some people that might be boring. Some people might see that as a waste of time. Al, you like different shit that maybe I don't like, and that's just how it is. Those of you that like drinking and like going out clubbing, like, kudos to you. My personal favorite club is Sam's Club, but that's just me.
Sam's Club. All right. Now that we're talking about New Year's, what do you think of New Year's resolutions? Are you on to that? Is it just... have you already made plans for it? What's going on there?
I have a lot on this, but first, I think I've talked enough. I want to know, what are your New Year's resolutions? Like the absolute ones that really matter to you.
Honestly, I don't have New Year's resolutions. I kind of find it a little cliche. It's kind of for me more a reminder of where my progress has been so far. Mm-hmm. Because I just don't like, the connections that New Year's is a funny thing that eventually just phases out after the first 2 months.
Yeah.
But rather I'm focusing on just these mainly 3 to 4 things. You know, podcast is obviously one of them, but then I also started thinking about the stock market I'm working on. Then also doing the small business with my friend as well. We're in the works on that. And then finally, I was just thinking of health wise, and that was the one thing that's really gone downhill. So I just thought about it recently, and I just gotta get back into it. So I'm already making like a plan of what to do, and also when it comes to health as well, I just want to focus on nutrition as well. I gotta start eating more greens and all that stuff. So I would just say that those will be my main four if I were to name them or my resolution. So it'll be stocks, small business, health, and the podcast.
Do you have any like more so personal ones? Like, do you want to do something more, or I don't know, do something less? Like, not really something big like the business, but is there any ones that are really personal to you? Maybe like character wise, 'Cause at times, I think a lot of people, and what they should be doing is, hey, maybe I should be less negative. Maybe I should do more of this. Just I'm not trying to be funny. What are you laughing?
Yes. You gotta understand so far, Hector. I laugh at some other shit. I find humor in other stuff you find
Someone
serious,
probably related to what I said, and you laughed at them, and they probably think I'm telling jokes, and I'm not.
I'm sorry to whoever feels offended by that. I just find it funny. But you were saying?
Yeah, like, so for me, so like I do have goals in terms of projects. Like, you and me have discussed the things that we are working on. We're still going to continue with this podcast. We're not going to stop. The goal is to, when we're 30, 40 years old, I don't know if it's still going to be us, but this podcast is still going to be going on. And we have some other projects that we want to integrate as well, but we don't want to talk about it until those are in the works at the very least. So aside from projects, like, I think at the same time, you should be working on yourself as a project as well. Now, I'm not talking to you personally. I'm just saying you in general, the listener. Last year, and you know this, I lost about 50 pounds. And I started this podcast. Those were the two most important things to me. And I got into, I wasn't doing the job I wanted, but I was in the field that I wanted. And that was a critical thing for me. So in terms of those three things, those were like my big highlights and goals of last year. But I think this year is more so, let's continue it. I don't want to stop it. Like you said, the fitness, that's something people do and then they stop and they get in a slump and life is busy and they're back at school. But your health is only going to disintegrate. Like, as you age, it's not going to wait for you.
Yeah.
Your body's going to slowly be falling apart. I was discussing with a friend about a week ago when he came over, was like, well, for him, like, when he gets up off the couch, like, he feels like some pain in his knees, and like, that's scary. Like, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to get older and your body's just going to get a little more fragile. So, but a goal for me this year, besides, keeping up with my progress, I just want to watch what I say. And I want to be able to, I think there's like strength and power behind words. I want to be able to uplift people more, and be helpful more, just be more articulate with my words. More so that, and of course the projects, like I said. And I think the biggest thing for me, and I think something that everybody should be listening to right here, is I want to be an active participant in my own life. And what I mean by that is, if I want something or if I want to do something, I want to do it. I don't want to just wait for things to happen. And I think a lot of people tend to, let me just wait for a sign. Let me just, if this happens, it happens. But sometimes you got to start your own chapter or open your own doors. And I think that's the big theme for me this year. Just, if I want something, go for it. But
our podcast has, sorry.
This is a good podcast.
Our podcast is definitely transitioning to more of a motivational one.
That's when
because we do emphasize this a lot, just doing it rather than thinking about it or prolonging it. But I was gonna mention, when it comes to something not really projects wise that you mentioned, but because you asked me, but something I would like to focus more internally. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Um, I have been. I don't think I voiced my opinion as much here, but I'm always a huge advocate when it comes to your um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like your psychology, your how your mind thinks and works. Because at the end of the day, your mind has to be somewhere in order to at least do certain things or think certain ways or just live a certain life you'd like to live. And money isn't just all that, you know. Money doesn't fix all those things, even though it's a popular solution. But I've because I've always gone through a lot of stuff, especially way before I met you. I went through a lot. I felt like one of the changes I did make was psychological. I was just thinking more positively, more optimistically, anything that I could just see myself and say, hey, this could be different. You know, there's always something, some sort of progress you can make there.
So your mental health.
And yeah, mental health. There you go. Thank you for the word. So I would say for that basis, I'm just a huge advocate. And one of the things I realized just like last year, like towards the end, was that I don't. This is gonna sound bad, but to that point, at least my experiences with friends, I didn't have that many positive ones growing up. So I didn't really trust or value my relationships at times, even with opportunities I had with great people I met. I just always thought negatively on that aspect. And one of the changes I did transition to do was to want to hang out with more of these friends I talk to and I get along with a lot. So I would say that's one of my goals, is actually just getting closer with my friendships and making them grow rather than just having them as a list.
Yeah, I think at times where we use the, I'm busy or, work as an excuse. And at times, we don't make time for those real friendships.
Is it even time? It's also, I feel, yeah, like I said, mental health, your trust too, like, because at the end, it's also like doing the project is kind of like taking a risk, but not monetary wise, but mental health wise, will the next person be the one that helps you have more trust with other people, or will it just keep you digging down the hole even more? So at times it does go back to what you're saying, how you speak to people too. Any small sort of changes you can make to yourself, just presenting yourself to other people, will make such a huge thing for others.
Yeah, not just that, but
yeah,
back to this, and I don't want to keep tooting our horn on we're getting old, but honestly, like as you get older, like time is more fleeting. Time, it feels like it's going by faster. And you realize that like life is so short, because when you're younger, it feels like, a day's long, a summer's even longer. Like it's ridiculous. But as you get older, like you realize like, God damn, like it's already 2020, like before we know it, it's gonna be 2021 already. We're already in this new decade. Yeah. And I think there's a certain point where I learn and realize like, I don't have time for everybody. I don't have time for the people I don't really care about, or the people that stress me out, or the people that annoy me. Like, why am I still making time for these people? Like, I should be making more time for the people that I actually do care about. And I think that's what more people should be like. I think at times we're so, no, this is, a good old friend of mine. I can't just not talk to her. Like, no, like bullshit. Like, move on. If that person is a negative influence on you, or like has a negative effect on you, like you're choosing to invest this time in that person. That's what I think. And that's what I've been doing lately. There's times where, I honestly believe, like, if it's important to you, if this person's important to you, you're going to find a way. But those people that you don't really care about, that's when you keep saying, like, oh, yeah, one day we'll hang out. One day we'll hang out. Oh, yeah, when I'm available, I'll hit you up. But then it never happens. But then that's just energy and
you also got
time you're spending into this person. Like,
you also got to kind of wake up and see what the person you're dealing with is offering, at least. Because at times I feel, and it's a valid point, that either people don't, even though they're shitty people at times, the person is involved with, they either don't want to, risk again trying to find somebody else because it's kind of scary, and it is. But also that they always give a lot of chances. And that was me a lot before. Until one day you just got to think, you just got to prioritize your respect over the relationship. And if the respect isn't there for that person, or it doesn't give it to you, just break it. It doesn't matter. There's a ton of people out there, and there's so many resources for you to click with other people, especially nowadays. Just prioritize your respect for yourself over a relationship, and that's also one of the things I really am. What do you say?
Yeah, and
not going for, but I really like to preach about.
No, yeah, that's good. Back to the goals. One thing we wanted to talk about, but I just realized we forgot. I'm going to ask this to the listeners. Raise your hand if you guys have a goal. Raise your hand if you have a few goals. All right. Now, all I wanted to say is that it
give us a like if you have goals.
Raise your hand if you have no goals. Raise your hand if you're listening to us and you're like, I want their goals. No, but so something I was thinking about the other day is just like, and we've talked about this in regards to the gym. This is a big one with the gym, but there tend to be a lot of people come like end of December, beginning of January, who make up a lot of goals. They want to do stuff. They want to go places. They want to go to the gym. And that's great. Awesome. Make your goals. But then what tends to happen is by the end of the first month, it fades away. And that's not good. I think that kind of shows that you weren't serious about it. I clearly remember when we were at Cal State San Bernardino, and I remember when I first went in as a freshman, they told us like, hey, if you're going to go to the gym, don't go in January, or time out when you're going to go, because that's when people who have these New Year's resolutions and they want to lose weight and get fit, that's when everyone floods the gym. But then come February, it's empty again. And like, that's funny, but it's sad. And it shouldn't be like that, but that's what it is. A lot of people tend to make all these goals, and then February, boom, it's the same as the year before. And I think at times people make goals to impress people. Hey, this is something that I should be doing, or this is something that all these people are doing. Like, maybe, take care of yourself, but maybe hitting the gym isn't that important to you. Like, I think you should be honest to yourself about your goals.
It's always got to root from your, not interest, but your needs type of thing. And also, what are your goals rather than, how do you say, actually not your goals, but what is most beneficial for you, not society. Oh, well, actually society too, but social thought. That's great. Just root it from yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
More than anything else. But
I've never mentioned this on the podcast, but a few of you guys know. But I'm a musician. I play guitar. I write music. And something that people tell me every time is I want to learn an instrument. I'm like, oh, that's great. I think learning an instrument is fantastic. I know a while ago you learned piano, Al. And every year I hear the same thing, like, in January, like, I'm going to force myself to play guitar. I'm going to force myself to do this. But the thing is, if you don't actually want to do it for the sake of doing it, you're not going to fall through with it. If you're just doing it for the appearances, or it looks like it will be cool, or I want to do this because this person's doing it, like, I'm sorry, but it's probably not going to fall through. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be realistic. Like, you should want something. You should care about it. You should have that passion for it. And those are the goals I think that people tend to care about.
And also, why during the process of doing those things or gaining that sort of skills, when you want something, it's not always going to be rainbows and roses. You kind of, and this is what I do too, you kind of have to fake yourself into loving the grind. Like, you love this. Even though it could be annoying to what goal you want to get to, you have to, play an hour a day, piano, guitar, and it could get repetitive and all this stuff. But once you get to that, one of your goals for that specific field, it's just great.
You got to practice your craft. Like, there was a point where, the beginning of this podcast, where the audio just didn't sound good or the content wasn't that great. And we could have easily have quit. We could have. But we stuck through with it.
Damn it. just Audacity didn't want to download. We're like, all right, we're done. We paid for these mics. We got them. Yeah, that's the farthest we go. Nah, that's at least one. If you could give like one tip for people to be at least going through the grind, what do you think it would be? Like for me, like I said, kind of fake yourself into enjoying it. But what would you say?
Not more so. I think it's change your mindset. You have to know if you're going to learn something that you're not going to be good at it in the beginning. You're not going to. It's impossible. If you barely touch a guitar for the first time, you're not going to be fucking playing Stairway to Heaven within 20 minutes. It's not how it works. And that's the way for the piano or basketball. You first touch a basketball, you're not going to be shooting 3-pointers in 5 minutes. That's not how it works. You're going to suck at it. But I think you need to have that mindset that you need to invest in that time. And I think it's the mindset that matters, because when you start, if you're impatient or you get frustrated, and then you start seeing like, oh, this is taking way longer. Why can't I play a G chord? Or, why can't I play this? Then if you're focusing on those negatives, you're not going to enjoy it. When I first got my guitar, my brother and I got ours together, and I remember within a week he returned his, and he just wasn't patient enough to go through with it. But for me, I loved music, and I used to watch music videos solely for seeing these people play these instruments. And I used to think like, damn, like I want to be like Slash from Guns N' Roses, or I want to be like The Strokes. Like I want a guitar and I want to play my own music. So for me, there was passion, and I knew I fucking sucked at it for like at least a year. But in time, like I don't even know when I started liking my guitar playing. I don't even remember when it happened. The day I realized like, damn, I can play. It just happened one day. I don't even know. But I think you have to go in knowing that you're most likely going to suck. We all do when we start something. This podcast wasn't great when we started, but we're getting better at it. That's just how it is. It's the mindset.
Trust the process.
Yeah. You need to have a realistic mindset.
And also enjoy those breadcrumbs, you're not going to get the full loaf of bread within the month, but always constantly when you when you're doing whatever and you thought you did something cool for the first time, kind of nourish it. Not that that's your end goal, or you're done, but just reflect on it for a minute, just like a second, and just keep going back to it. But that at least helps, because like you mentioned before, not going for the negatives, but keep it on the positives.
Yeah, just enjoy the journey. That's what's gonna make it fun when you realize, like, I remember when I struggled at this, or I remember when I was learning to do this, and you think of it in those funny ways and in those nice ways. Like I was watching this video where this guitar player, he was going around like some guitar store, and he was asking everyone like, oh, what's the first song you learned to play guitar? And at times people don't think of that journey and how it started. They just kind of take it for granted. But that journey is part of your passion. It's a critical part of your passion.
That's true. All the way.
Damn, this is our TED Talk.
We should do a submission, man. Eventually just submit. It's not even that hard, I think. I saw the application.
I've never told you this. I've told a few people. And about a week or two ago, I had some friends over. Elias, the intern, was here. Beatrice was here. And some old high school friends of mine. And we were watching TED Talks. It was like a Friday night, and we're watching TED Talks, and we're drinking. And I told them, and this has been a legit goal of mine, Al. I've never told you this, but my goal is to one day have my own legit TED Talk. I want to be on a TED Talk and have my own discussion. That is my goal. I don't know what's going to be about, but I want to have a TED Talk.
A Hector Talk?
Yeah, a hectic talk. That's what I'm going to call it.
A stallion talk?
A stallion talk. Oh, by the way.
Hey, there you go.
By the way, so our intern started looking into Photoshop.
Uh-huh.
You know why? He wants to Photoshop me on the stallion. And he started getting a little creative with it. I think he wants to put my face on the stallion. So I'm not looking forward to that.
But wasn't that your main end game right there? Like,
no, I wanted myself on a stallion. I don't want my face. No, he wants to put my face.
Centaur. So he's going for a centaur.
Yeah, he's going to put my face on a stallion. And like he's being an asshole about it too. So he asked me like, hey, what color do you want your stallion? And I was like, I want a majestic white. And he told me, all right, black it is. And I was like, really?
That's funny.
Like, come on.
or just put some white spots there, just to appeal you somehow, some small way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
If you guys have any edits or any like Photoshop stuff you want to submit to us for the podcast, maybe over time, maybe might want a new theme song. If you guys record music, send us your stuff. Show us your art. We want to talk about it. We want to see this stuff. We want this to be a community.
Talking about recording, I know you recently kind of put it out there that you're gonna start getting into guitar playing and stuff like that, at least in your social media. And you gave a poll to at least some songs that anybody could submit their own. Mm-hmm. What was the one that you enjoyed seeing the most? Like out of the bunch of submissions, which one's the one you're looking forward to?
Out of the submissions that I got?
Yeah.
All right. So for those that don't know, follow Dr. underscore Hector on Instagram. That's my Instagram. But I used to play a lot of guitar. And I kind of been lagging it. And I mostly just touch my guitar just to honestly just jam for like a few minutes and I'll put it back. And I just realized I started really procrastinating with my guitar. So I did a poll on Instagram and I took a photo of both my guitars, electric and acoustic. And I said, I want to start playing again in 2020. Do you have any song suggestions? So I did this poll for song suggestions and I got a few. I got a lot. So you know how in Instagram you type into the little bar and it gives that person the suggestion, then they can post it. So a lot of people were privately sending me their suggestions. So I had a bundle of them, but they weren't sent through the Instagram thing. The ones that I did present, there was Hey There Delilah by the Plain White T's. Somebody Gave Me La Bamba. It's a song I haven't played in a long time. Last Resort, Papa Roach. Mm-hmm. That one was nice looking back at, but I think it might be Hey There Delilah, mostly because I remember joking around about this way back in the day. I used to hang out with a lot of musicians, and Hey There. So when someone learns guitar, especially like
oh my god,
yeah. So I used to hang out like a lot. I knew a lot of like metalheads and like punkers and like people that want to play like some heavy stuff, like some Metallica or some some Ramones and shit. And when I first learned guitar, that's what I was doing. I was playing like more metal and stuff. But when you get a song suggestion from a girl, especially like back in 08, 09, it was always Hey There Delilah. So it's funny because like you want to show off your skills for like this girl you're into. You want to shred on your guitar, but then they're asking for like the easiest song in music history and like the most overplayed, over-recommended song, Hey There Delilah, which is a beautiful song. But like I can learn it like in 5 minutes. I'm not trying to be cocky about that, but I am going to learn that. But that made me laugh. I'm going to do it. That was a dear friend of mine. And she recommended Hey There Delilah, so I'm going to do it. So I'm thinking of just doing like these clips and just putting them on Instagram so people can see like, hey, like I actually listened to the people that drew in a suggestion. I'm going to put it on Instagram. So I'm going to be doing song recommendations from people, and I actually want to learn this stuff more so for myself too, for practice. So if anyone has a song they want me to do, send it in. I'll put it on my Instagram, Dr. Hector _ between Dr. and Hector. I'm trying to get active on the guitar again.
That makes me think too. Since I play the piano and when I was little, like around when I started high school, I always said I wanted to play the guitar first before anything else. But they and I want to ask you this and tell me if it's bullshit or not. But what I always got from my quote unquote mentors was that you first got to learn how to play the piano first before you learn the guitar.
Nah.
Do you think that's true or that bullshit? Yeah, there you go. That's what I thought.
I mean,
I'm like,
I understand what you mean. What I've always heard is if you know piano already, guitar is easy, or if you know guitar already, piano's easy. It's just more so because the notes are kind of laid out similarly. It's just more so in that aspect. Because when I actually taught myself piano, my aunt had a piano and she just had it in her living room, like nobody touched it. I'm the only musician on this side of the family, and until now, lately, I have some other cousins that are playing guitar. But there was this day where I'm like, I'm going to teach myself piano. There's this piano that nobody touches. It's like really dusty and it's just abandoned here. So I started learning piano and I was trying to understand the notes. And once I realized, like, music notes on a guitar are the same as music notes on a piano. It's the same exact thing, same order. It's not just randomly jumbled and shit. So once I started learning that, I wasn't perfect at piano, but I could get the basic concepts of it. But you don't need to know piano to learn guitar. Like, I didn't consider piano until like 4 or 5 years after I played guitar.
Bam.
It might help.
Go.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn more instruments
because
too.
that's actually gonna lead up to my next point. When my next discussion was that when I previously stated that I played piano, at least to my close friends, one of them legit, and I don't know if, and this is, I'm gonna ask you this after, but he legit wanted to make a band already.
That's the way to do it. You gotta force yourself.
It's kind of amusing at the same time. It's like, have you been in bands before? Because the one thing I always think about when having a band is the shittiest thing is to make a song. Like, that's for me, because I feel like at least you end up overthinking the lyrics because they have to be kind of quote unquote deep or meaningful. At least if you're a good human being, rather than just repeating the same lyric. But yeah.
All right.
Have you had that?
If you're starting a band, well, not just you, but anybody, if you're considering starting a band for the first time, I recommend just covering songs. I think at times when you cover songs, you learn about music. You're learning how these songs are laid out and how exactly why did these musicians put these notes together, and how do these lyrics fall in line with these notes. But for me, I actually did that when I first learned guitar years ago. I learned guitar. And I told my friend about it, like, hey, I learned guitar, and he loved music too. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna get a guitar, let's start a band. And I hadn't even learned guitar yet. I just got a guitar, that's it. So he got a guitar, and eventually we had this friend that like got a bass, and we had a friend that played drums. And immediately we went in my friend's garage. We used to all live near each other, and we would go there, and we'd be like, all right, we're a band already, let's start playing. But none of us knew how to play our damn instruments. So I remember at the time, honestly, we spent more time thinking of band names and thinking of what we want to look like than actually learning the music. And I feel bad for the neighbors because we probably play like the shittiest things known to man. But like, as you actually learn music and you cover songs, like you learn. And I've been in a few other bands since then, like way better bands, like not popular, of course, not successful, but where we were actually decent and we had some good stuff. And that's why I want to get back into it. I don't mind making another band. If you guys want to start a band with me, the Stallion, let me know. I have a friend who plays the mandolin, and I'm trying to get her to play more because I think there's potential there.
I heard the intern could play an instrument.
He wants to learn the harmonica.
Oh!
Yeah.
Does he have background experience, like any instrument?
His background experience for the harmonica is knowing what a harmonica is. His background. Yeah, and I've been...
I was going to suggest start with the triangle, but damn. Actually, that makes me wonder, do you think playing the triangle is a skill? Takes skill?
It's percussion.
Or just timing?
Well, here's the thing, so it's a percussion instrument, and timing is essential.
Yeah, there you
go. Not until I started playing in a band, like properly playing in a band, like the last band I was with, that's when I realized like how important the drums are. The drums isn't just this instrument where you're just badass and just banging on these drums. It's not that at all. Like, you're keeping timing. So the way it goes is you're keeping this beat, you're keeping this timing. The bass player plays off of that too. They're kind of percussionary in a way as well. And that's important for the band. Like, if the drummer misses one beat or speeds up, you're going to know. The people playing along are going to know because it's just going to be different. It's going to feel different. It's going to speed up or slow down, or it's just going to be off. But the triangle, like it's a lot less than a drum set. You're just holding a little triangle, but I don't know much about the triangle. But it's still percussionary, and it should still be, or still hold some sort of significance. You know what? I'm going to learn the triangle, or you should learn it. We should start a band for Savages Unscripted.
Hey, I got a piano. I'll learn that.
Okay, you're going to stick
Let the intern get the triangle.
You don't want the manly instrument, the triangle. You want the piano. There's some instruments that... So what's funny is a lot of people play the ukulele because it's simpler. It's 4 strings and it's a smaller body. It's a little instrument. You can easily take it around. Like a ukulele, you can probably hold it with 2 fingers. It's super light, but a guitar is heavier. It's a heavier instrument. And I've been playing with a friend recently, and she plays ukulele. I play guitar. And although like the ukulele should be easier, it's only 4 strings, 4 little strings on this little thing. she can outplay me like so much. And the ukulele to me, like learning guitar to ukulele is the most complicated thing in the world to me. Like it feels like I'm learning a new language. So
Ukulele?
if you guys play ukulele, go rock on. For some reason I'm so used to guitar that I cannot do it. My fingers just cannot. I have to every day look up these chords, and within 5 minutes I forget them already. I just can't.
I always thought that, at least for instrument wise, the most difficult one would be the harp to play.
Ooh, I would love to learn a harp.
Dude, that sounds majestic as hell, man. That's honestly one of my favorite instruments out there.
But I would also
besides
think
the banjo too, but
I would also think a violin because that looks difficult. No, but not just that though, but it's really loud. If you don't play right, everyone's gonna hear it. I think that seems like a very hard instrument to practice. Oh no, you weren't living with us back then, but when I lived on campus, the year before I met you, one of our neighbors played violin, and we don't know who it was, but they were bad at it. And we could hear it every time. And I remember,
like cartoons.
Yeah, and I remember like every day, because one of my roommates had like a really weird schedule, so he would take a nap after class. But that's when that guy would play his violin, and you would just hear like, oh my god, just really bad playing. But you know, he was practicing, so that's good. Good for the violin player.
Also, one more thing before we wrap up. Just a quick story. I have my cousin who loves AC/DC and those old, I don't know, 70s, 80s rock bands. And I remember we gifted him a good guitar. Like, I don't know if it's good or not. I'm just saying price-wise, it
cost money.
Pretty all right. Yeah, it cost. Okay, Hector, you decide. It cost like $250. Is that a good?
I think
good
you showed me the guitar.
Not,
was it the one like a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Was that quality or no?
That was a good starter guitar, but if he sticks through with it, like in 3 years, he's gonna want like a real guitar.
I got him one of those in 99-cent stores. You know, the ones you just press one button.
Yeah, he spent $200 in the 99-cent store.
I just bought him a ton of them because they'll break constantly. But I just remember that, and this kind of goes back to just doing stuff, and it kind of ties in with making your goals. So this guy did play the guitar, but the problem was that he would make a goal to learn one song per year.
One song a year?
And you know, that shit pissed me off so much because I'm like, you're legit. Hector, come on, like at least a starter. How long would that take? Like for me, piano wise, I think I'll take like, if I dedicate myself, I'll take like maybe 1 to 2 weeks to play a song. But a year, that's ridiculous. And the one thing that always was the excuse is, I'm trying to learn AC/DC, and it's not even it's not the easiest song in the world. I'm like, why are you doing that then? Go for another one, you know, a starter pack one. But oh my god, dude, you don't know how much. Oh my god, how kind of like not salty, but kind of disappointed I was. I'm like, you seem so good at it, and you have the passion for it, yet your goals are not set in place. But damn, dude. And that goes to a lesson, you know, make reasonable goals, but realistic goals. But come on, like, it's not that low of a standard, at least.
I think that's, you know, I think it always goes down, honestly, to mindset. I think that's what it is, you know, especially as a beginner, he's probably thinking like it would take longer to learn a song, you know? Like, I'm sure once he learns his first full song, he'll realize like, wow, I can probably do one a month, you know, or one every 2 months. I think it's just more so as a beginner, and that's why you see people when they read books and they tell themselves like, "Oh, I'm going to read 3 books this year," which isn't much. It really isn't if you really think about that. And it's kind of the same way. Like I think you're going into someone that doesn't do this, and you don't understand how long it's going to take. But if you grind at it, like it's going to be a lot faster than that. But exactly what he's doing, that's what I did too. I remember the first song I played on guitar was Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, which was not an easy song. And I'm surprised I even learned guitar or even still enjoyed it, because I remember being so frustrated. Like there was this difficult song I wanted to learn, but I loved it so much that I needed to do it. I don't even play it much anymore.
Oh my god. No, but yeah, yeah, and it is also it does go back to at least knowing or getting your feet wet and actually being realistic and seeing how much. But at least having reasonable that made me actually learn when they mention reasonable goals. It's not also that they're trying to say don't make extreme goals, but don't also make super low goals like that. I never ran into that before, but yeah, that was my little story right there. And before we log off, is there anything else you want to say to the savages, Hector?
I do. No, I have something to say before we get off. But I do have something to say for the savages. So very fast, savages. If you have any goals, you're the only one that's going to decide if you're going to stick through it or not. Nobody else. I'm going to be blunt here. If a goal of yours doesn't fall through, or if it stops, it's probably because you quit. Or it stopped.
Oof.
I'm just being honest. Do the things you want to do. Don't do things because you think you have to, or because other people are doing it. Do those goals that you've always been wanting to do, and stick to them. Damn.
And always keep in mind,
my TED Talk.
And always keep in mind that it's gonna take time. It's not gonna be in 1 week. It's always gonna take time, and also have goals, and within the same topic you want to learn or dominate. Always have, and this is how successful people do. They don't have just one goal. They don't just want to get famous and that's it. They constantly add to the goal. So kind of stepping stones. Mm-hmm. Because at the end, those stepping stones are kind of make up the full goal, but without it ending. Because if you stop making progress, that's when you're going to start declining.
Amen. Hallelujah. I have one thing to say before we cap off. No, this made my day. I think it was like a day ago. Is today the 4th? Oh, it was yesterday. Okay, so I love feedback. So those listening, we love feedback. If you guys want to hit us up on the Instagram, on Twitter, or if you guys, have personal contact with us, please let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you would want to hear more of. But anyways, I have this friend, and she would occasionally give me good, legit feedback, and I love her feedback. And I haven't heard of any feedback from her in a while, and she just hit me up yesterday, and this made me laugh. But I think I'm gonna hold this to heart. But you know who you are. But she told me hey, although your voice is very soothing, I hate hearing you say the word Gucci. And that just made me laugh so much. So I told her I was just trying to relate to the youth and use this slang, but it really isn't me. I don't know if you noticed this out, but when I use slang, I use it ironically. I only use slang after it's been overused. So I started saying fam a year or two later. I started saying Gucci a year or two later. I didn't say YOLO until 2 years after, intentionally, because at that point people forgot about it and people use slang because it's popular. And once it's not popular anymore, if you say this shit, people are going to look at you oh, that's not in anymore. But I don't give a fuck. That's when I say it. So I'm going to use my slang very sparingly. But she said, and a few other people, that they prefer when I use the more complex words and when I show off my broad lexicon. So yeah, Al, you might hear me saying, I think you're the one that's going to use the slang for us. You're the one that's going to relate to the youth, and I'll say the more complex stuff, and I'm going to, be very articulate with my words.
Well, that is one of your goals.
Yeah, but I don't want to say her name. I don't know if she wants that on the podcast, but I appreciate your feedback. And again, anybody else, if you have any feedback, something honestly just funny like this too, something simple, we appreciate it. We like knowing you guys are listening.
That actually reminds me of one last thing too. I just found out this week through a friend that supposedly, here comes the word too, warning, the word moist is kind of yucky for people to hear.
Moist.
I don't know if you...
I like it.
And with that being said, that has been Savages Unscripted. This is your boy Al /Papi Chulo with
Hector. Have a nice moist day.